This is our full review of the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5, a compact SUV that's never tried to be everything, but somehow gets so many things right. It's the one SUV that's built for drivers, not just passengers. For years, the CX-5 has been the quiet champion, refined, rewarding, and surprisingly premium for the price. But with the market now flooded with hybrids, oversized screens, and ever flashier rivals from Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai, can it still hold its title as the class leader? We put it to the test, inside, out, and behind the wheel, to find out if the 2026 CX-5 still deserves a spot at the top. Let's dive in.
At first glance, the 2026 Mazda CX-5 doesn't scream revolution, but look closer, and you'll see this is the most substantial overhaul the nameplate has seen in years. It's longer, wider, and smarter in every sense. Compared to the outgoing generation, the body has been stretched by 4.5 inches, the wheelbase is 3 inches longer, and the track is slightly wider. That translates directly into more legroom and headroom in the second row, areas where the old CX-5 always lagged behind rivals like the Honda CR-V and Hyundai Tucson. Cargo space has also been rethought. With the longer floor and lower liftover height, loading groceries or gear is no longer a juggling act. Mazda hasn't just added volume, they've made that space more usable. Under the hood, things are a bit more conservative. For now, there's just one engine, a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder producing 187 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque. That's roughly on par with the base engines in the CR-V and RAV4, but notably, Mazda has pulled the turbocharged 2.5-liter option for now. What you do get is a 6-speed automatic and standard all-wheel drive across the lineup, which still gives the CX-5 a traction advantage over many front-wheel drive base competitors. But where Mazda clearly moved the needle is inside. The cabin design has been completely reimagined. Gone is the traditional rotary controller. In its place, a clean, horizontal layout centered around a sleek 12.9-inch touchscreen. Step up to higher trims, and you're greeted with a massive 15.6-inch display. Yes, that's larger than what you'll find in a BMW X3. And it's not just for show. The new system runs Google built-in, giving you native access to Maps, Assistant, Play Store, and voice control without ever plugging in your phone. In terms of design, the new CX-5 takes Mazda's Kodo language further. Sharper LED headlamps, a bolder grille, more aggressive character lines, and L-shaped taillights give the car a more athletic, planted stance. The proportions haven't just been stretched, they've been sculpted. It doesn't chase trends like some of its Korean rivals. Instead, it leans into a kind of quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to shout to get your attention. There's no hybrid yet, which in 2026 is a clear omission, but Mazda has confirmed it's coming. And knowing their track record, they won't enter the hybrid game just to follow the crowd. They'll do it the Mazda way, on their own terms, with driver engagement still at the center. In short, the 2026 CX-5 isn't here to reinvent the compact SUV. It's here to remind you that refinement, balance, and thoughtful design still matter, and sometimes evolution is more powerful than revolution. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 doesn't rely on gimmicks or over-the-top flourishes to stand out. It doesn't try to shock you with a massive grille or throw in wild LED patterns just for the sake of drama. Instead, it plays a different game. A quieter, more deliberate kind of design evolution that speaks to maturity, not flash. From the front, the grille is wider and sculpted, flanked by thinner LED headlights that seem to cut into the bodywork with precision. The lines are sharper, but not aggressive. There's a tension to the surfaces, subtle curves that reflect light just right, giving the CX-5 a more athletic, planted look without ever shouting for your attention. Look at it next to a Toyota RAV4 or a Hyundai Tucson, and the difference in philosophy is clear. While those competitors lean toward geometric chaos or futuristic abstraction, the CX-5 leans into timeless proportions. There's no faux ruggedness, no overdone plastic cladding, just clean, confident design that feels like it was shaped by human hands, not a marketing focus group.
Around the side, the longer wheelbase stretches the stance and lowers the visual center of gravity. The result? It looks more like a luxury crossover than a volume seller SUV. Wheel designs have been updated, ranging from tasteful 17-inch alloys to bolder 20-inch options on top trims, with finishes that feel expensive without trying too hard. At the rear, the new L-shaped taillights mirror Mazda's latest design language, echoing what we've seen on the new CX-90. The tailgate is simplified, and the new Mazda lettering stretches across the back, a subtle but intentional signal that this car doesn't need a badge to feel premium. In an era where compact SUVs are trying to be everything to everyone, off-roaders, EVs, tech showcases, the CX-5 simply wants to look good today and still look good 10 years from now. That's not flashy, that's design done right. Step inside the 2026 Mazda CX-5 and one thing becomes immediately clear. Mazda isn't chasing trends, they're chasing feel. And in this cabin, that approach pays off. Mazda has long punched above its weight in interior quality, but for 2026, they've elevated it further. The entire dashboard has been redesigned into a layered horizontal layout that feels clean, deliberate, and most importantly, driver-focused. There's a noticeable absence of clutter. No tacked-on screens, no flashy gimmicks. Just carefully considered materials, soft textures where they matter, and a sense of calm that most rivals still haven't figured out. Slide into the front seats and you're met with firm but supportive bolstering. Whether you're commuting through traffic or carving through mountain roads, these seats are designed to hold you in place without sacrificing long-haul comfort. Higher trims introduce synthetic leather or genuine leather upholstery, detailed stitching, and heated and ventilated options that make it feel closer to a premium European crossover than a mass-market Japanese SUV. But the biggest shift? Tech. For years, Mazda resisted touchscreens in favor of rotary dials and minimal distraction. That era is over. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 comes standard with a crisp 12.9-inch touchscreen, and higher trims upgrade to a massive 15.6-inch display, one of the largest in the segment. It's fast, intuitive, and powered by Google's built-in ecosystem. That means native Google Maps, Assistant, and access to apps from the Play Store, all without needing your phone.
It's a significant leap not just in usability, but in mindset. Mazda's finally meeting the tech expectations of modern buyers while still holding on to their driver-first roots. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are on board as expected, and the optional Bose premium audio system has been retuned to fill the cabin with richer, more precise sound. Storage has been improved too. The center console has more usable space, the door pockets are deeper, and the rear seatbacks fold flat with a one-touch mechanism, something Toyota still can't quite get right in the RAV4. Climate controls remain tactile, with physical knobs where they belong, because sometimes simplicity is luxury. In short, the CX-5's interior doesn't need to scream innovation, it just quietly delivers on the things that actually matter: comfort, quality, clarity. It doesn't try to be a lounge or a spaceship, it just wants to be a great place to drive, and in that mission, it absolutely succeeds. Mazda has always built cars for people who actually enjoy driving, and with the 2026 CX-5, that philosophy hasn't just survived, it's matured. From the first turn of the wheel, you can tell this SUV was tuned differently. The steering is light but precise, offering just enough feedback to feel connected, but never jittery. In a segment where most crossovers feel numb and floaty, the CX-5 still delivers a sense of control that's rare, even above its price point. Under the hood, you'll find a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine producing 187 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers won't blow anyone away, especially when rivals like the turbocharged Kia Sportage or hybrid CR-V boast more grunt off the line. But here's the twist. The CX-5 doesn't try to win a drag race. It's tuned for balance. The power delivery is smooth, the throttle response has been sharpened, and the 6-speed automatic gearbox, while old school on paper, shifts with intention and clarity. There's no hunting, no lag, no confusion, just clean, linear power when you ask for it. Mazda's standard all-wheel drive system, known as iActive all-wheel drive, adds confidence without ever feeling intrusive.
Whether you're tackling a rain-soaked back road or just need extra grip pulling out of a tight corner, it reacts quickly and invisibly. It doesn't just keep you safe, it keeps you in the flow. And then there's the ride. Thanks to a longer wheelbase and reworked suspension geometry, the 2026 CX-5 rides more comfortably than ever before. Rough pavement is handled with composure, body roll is minimal, and even at highway speeds, it stays quiet and planted. Quieter, in fact, than a RAV4 or a base model BMW X1. That's not an exaggeration, it's engineering focus. G-Vectoring Control Plus, Mazda's subtle but brilliant cornering system, is still on board, subtly adjusting torque during turns to keep the chassis flat and the steering natural. You don't notice it working, but you feel like a better driver because of it. This isn't a sporty SUV in the traditional sense, but it's satisfying, balanced, honest.
So yes, the Mazda magic is still alive. It's just grown up a little. Let's talk value, because at the end of the day, numbers matter. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 starts around $30,000 and, depending on trim and options, can reach just under $40,000 fully loaded. That puts it right in the heart of the compact SUV battlefield, going head-to-head with the Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, Hyundai Tucson, and even nibbling at the edge of entry luxury crossovers like the Volvo XC40 or Audi Q3. Mazda offers a streamlined trim lineup for 2026, each one designed to feel like a step up, not a compromise. The base model is surprisingly well equipped, with the standard 12.9-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, all-wheel drive, and advanced driver assistance features like adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and automatic emergency braking. Move up a tier and you're adding real upgrades, not just cosmetic fluff. Mid-tier trims introduce features like a power liftgate, dual-zone climate control, premium upholstery, and heated front seats. The top-end trims push it even further with leather surfaces, ventilated front seats, a panoramic sunroof, surround view camera system, and the larger 15.6-inch infotainment screen with built-in Google integration. Add in the upgraded Bose sound system, and you're stepping into a near-luxury experience without paying luxury premiums. And that's where the CX-5 continues to shine. It doesn't try to undercut the market on price, but it consistently offers more feel, more finish, and more driving satisfaction than most vehicles in its bracket. When you compare apples to apples, feature for feature, many rivals start to look like plastic-heavy, mass-produced compromises. Yes, there are trade-offs. You're not getting hybrid efficiency yet, and the turbocharged option is gone, for now. But what you are getting is a crossover that feels intentionally built. The materials don't feel like they were picked off a shelf. The features don't feel like they were crammed in to check boxes. And the driving experience? It's still uniquely Mazda. So is it worth the money? If you're the kind of buyer who values quality over gimmicks, who wants a car that feels premium without trying too hard, and who still cares about how a car drives, not just what it looks like on Instagram, then yes. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 isn't just competitively priced, it's intelligently priced. When you stack the 2026 Mazda CX-5 against its biggest rivals, RAV4, CR-V, Tucson, and even nibbling at the edge of entry luxury crossovers like the Volvo XC40 or Audi Q3, it doesn't win on every spec sheet. It's not the roomiest, it doesn't have a hybrid, and it's not trying to wow you with futuristic gimmicks or tablet-sized dashboards. But what it does offer, what it has always offered, is consistency, balance, and a driving experience that none of its direct competitors can quite match. The Toyota RAV4? It's a solid choice, especially in hybrid form. Efficient, durable, great resale. But step inside and you're greeted with a cabin that still feels utilitarian. Hard plastics, clunky infotainment, and a drive that feels more detached than dynamic.
The Honda CR-V, it's been redesigned to be more upscale, more mature, and it is, but it leans hard into comfort and practicality at the cost of character. The steering is light, the cabin is quiet, but it lacks the engagement and personality that Mazda still builds into every CX-5. Then there's the Hyundai Tucson, arguably the most feature-packed in this segment. Giant screen, bold styling, hybrid and plug-in options. But the trade-off is a ride that can feel too firm, overly tech-dependent controls, and a cabin that impresses more in photos than in long-term daily use. So where does that leave the CX-5? It lands squarely in the middle of it all, but in the best possible way. It may not dominate any single category on paper, but it's the most well-rounded, most cohesively engineered compact SUV you can buy today. It feels more premium than the CR-V, more refined than the RAV4, and more honest than the Tucson. And for drivers, people who actually care about how a car responds, how it makes you feel behind the wheel, the CX-5 remains the benchmark. It's the only SUV in this class that still prioritizes driving dynamics without sacrificing practicality or quality. So, is it still the best in class? If your priorities are thoughtful design, premium feel, and a drive that keeps you engaged long after the commute is over, then yes, the 2026 Mazda CX-5 still wears the crown. Let's cut through the noise. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 isn't the flashiest SUV in the segment. It doesn't scream for attention with oversized screens or futuristic gimmicks. It doesn't try to be everything for everyone. But what it does, exceptionally well, is deliver a driving experience that feels intentional, mechanical, honest. In a world where most compact SUVs are trending towards softness, soullessness, or tech overload, the CX-5 stays grounded in what matters: refined design, premium execution, and road manners that make you want to take the long way home. No, it's not the roomiest. No, it's not a hybrid. And no, it's not chasing TikTok trends with flashy interiors. But for drivers who still care about feel, balance, and long-term quality, the CX-5 quietly makes its case mile after mile. So, should you buy it? If you're a driver first and a spec sheet chaser second, yes, 100%. And if you've made it this far, chances are you're exactly the kind of person this SUV was built for. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more deep dive reviews, honest comparisons, and no-nonsense car content coming your way. This is Car Today Reviews, and this was the 2026 Mazda CX-5. See you on the next drive.